Hello everyone, it's me, Henry Buckstall. Welcome to my channel, Troubleshooting with Henry. A scientist? How cool can that be? Today's guest is Olivia Ellis. Olivia recently obtained her Bachelor of Science degree in the Honors Physics program at the University of Ottawa. Olivia was part of the co-op program where she worked at Measurement Canada and the National Research Council of Canada. In 2020, Olivia co-founded and became president of the first ever Women in Physics Club at Ottawa U. In 2021, Olivia will be pursuing a master's degree at McGill in psychology, where she'll be comparing the neural networks in musicians versus non-musicians during memory recall tasks. Her interest in combining science and music originated in high school. Olivia grew up with a natural talent for music, but when she took her first physics class in grade 11, all she wanted to do was to explore an area of research that includes both science and music. Hello, Olivia, and welcome to Troubleshooting with Henry, the interviews. I've got 10 questions for you. Are you ready to get started?
I am very ready to get started.
All right, let's do this. Question 1. When you were a kid, what did you want to do as a grown-up?
So I dreamed about being an actor, singer, and dancer. I wanted to be a triple threat. And I wanted to go to Juilliard and, get this fancy degree and go on American Idol. I just really wanted to be a famous singer in the end.
Wow. Good luck.
Yeah.
I hope that happens for you.
Thank you. Hopefully, knock on wood. We'll see.
What is your career now?
I'm currently in a transition phase. So right now I'm working at the National Research Council of Canada in the what's called Security and Disruptive Technologies Division. But in the fall, I will be going back to school and doing a master's in psychology at McGill. So a complete 180 almost.
That's a crazy time in one's life, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy working and being a student at the same time. It's a lot, but it's very rewarding.
What's the worst job you've ever had, and why was it so bad?
I I'd like to think this is the job that I liked the least, but the job I liked the least was being working in a gelato cafe. So I had to serve people gelato. But the thing was, it was a very like high-end cafe. Everything was very fancy. I had to do everything a certain way, like even scooping the gelato, I had to do it in this exact way. I didn't last more than a month and a half, I have to say. That's
Oh,
definitely the job I didn't like.
I can see that. Did you go to college or university, and if so, what did you study there?
So I just obtained my undergrad degree at the University of Ottawa, where I studied honors physics. So honors just means you complete this research project with a supervisor. But that's how it's different from a normal bachelor's degree. But yeah, I just obtained that like a month ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Olivia, can you tell me a little bit about that club that you started?
Yeah, absolutely. So I co-founded this club called we're called Plasma, which stands for Physics Leaders and Student Mentorship Association. So Plasma is, we call ourselves a Women in Physics Club, but really it's for any women or minorities in physics, for them to gain professional insights on careers in physics, or we do outreach to like local high schools and teach them about physics and stuff like that. So we just started at the end of 2020, and we do we do sort of also these informal gatherings where anyone can come in and we can just talk about each other's day and stuff like that. Like I mentioned earlier, we've done also professional development seminars where we teach people, how to build resumes or how to network effectively to go into different physics careers. So we're still pretty new, but our goal is to really empower women and minorities in physics.
I would say that you'll change people's lives with that.
I really hope so. And it is really rewarding to have started this group because I can only hope that it can, last for several years after I've started it.
What got you interested in the job you have now?
Well, I first became interested in pursuing science in grade 11, where I took my first physics class. I was like, this is so cool how you can explain such a complicated thing with just simple math and equations. So that really interested me. And then I wanted to, add music to it. And I saw a documentary on combining like science and music. I was like, this is perfect for me. I should just keep on doing this. So, my jobs that I took were kind of, they kind of deviated from that path a bit, but everything that I've learned in those jobs, I can apply to my future research.
Well, that's just amazing that you found something and you're just going along with it.
Yeah, for sure. And it takes a while, but slowly but surely I'll get there.
What do you find most challenging about your job?
So I'd say as a student, the most challenging thing I find is managing your time because, you're taking classes, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you have to do this research and oh, there's all these emails you have to answer and oh, you have all these meetings. So you have to really practice to manage your time well. And that's something that I find I've had to practice over the years. So that's definitely a challenge being a student. Working at the NRC, however, I find the most challenging thing is presenting my research in front of my research group. So every now and then I present, a summary of what I've done so far, basically. And sometimes when I present my research, I feel kind of inferior almost, like I almost don't belong, like, my research is not as advanced as my research groups, but that's only because I'm inexperienced, right? Like that's the only thing. But sometimes my mentality is like, oh, I don't know why I'm here, type of thing. So I kind of feel self-conscious, but it's very good practice to present your research to your group.
I understand how that feels when you enter into a room because I've actually been there, like on that receiving end of that pressure.
Okay.
And I find the best thing for that is just to depersonalize a little bit. Like you were doing the best that you can. That's all that matters.
That's a very good way of thinking for sure. And that can take you very far in life. No barriers holding you back. That's a great point.
Can you give me an example of a time you had to troubleshoot an issue with your job or your personal life and the solution you came up with?
Another great question on the theme of troubleshooting. I love it. So in my job right now at the National Research Council, I do a lot of coding and computation. And I've learned the hard way that no matter what you do in code or in computation, you never get it right the first time. It's almost an anomaly if you can get it right the first time. So multiple times I've had to troubleshoot my code. So I've had to, go through it, see, line by line what I did. And the good thing about code and computer programming languages is that they are mostly open source. So that means if you Google your problem, like, oh, this didn't work, chances are someone else has had that same problem. So the answer comes up basically in multiple different websites and discussion groups. So yeah, the best thing I find when I have a computation problem is just Googling the problem and answers come up almost right away because coding is basically open source.
It's great that you know how to code. I know zero.
You know what? I used to be like that too, honestly, but it's all about just teaching yourself and thinking to yourself, this will be useful in the future one day. So you just got to keep applying yourself.
Okay. What do you find most rewarding about your career?
As a student, the thing I find most rewarding is knowing that I will use the knowledge I've learned at some point in the future. So if I'm taking a class, and if I find, sometimes it's boring or, the prof is really boring or whatever, I just keep telling myself, even if I retain 10% of the information from this class, I'll be good to go. I'll use it at some point in the future. And that is very motivating and rewarding. But as working at the NRC, the thing I find most rewarding is just getting one of those computational tasks done. Because like I said before, it takes so long trying to debug code. And then when you finally get it, it's, oh my gosh, I can't even describe the joy one feels. It feels great.
I can only imagine. What do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? Well, the pandemic's not fun, let me tell you that. But for fun, I like to play piano if I have any free time. I like to read, or I like to watch TV. I also love to bake and cook. And now that it's starting to finally get nice outside, I'll be riding my bike a lot for sure.
That's awesome. If someone was visiting the city where you live, what would you recommend that they see?
So if they came in the winter, I would say definitely go on a skate on the Rideau Canal and buy a beaver tail. That's a classic Ottawa thing to do in the winter. And if they came in the summer, I would recommend going for a bike ride along the canal or along the Ottawa River and stopping for a little picnic. I find is a great summer activity to do in Ottawa.
We're done the interview already?
I guess time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being on my show, Olivia.
Thank you very much for having me, Henry. It's a pleasure.
You are very welcome. Olivia was my first interview with a scientist. I got a lot of information I can apply to my life, like time management is an actual thing. The struggle is real. As Olivia pointed out, it's a skill that needs to be practiced. It really got me when Olivia said that sometimes she doesn't trust herself and her work, like when she has to present her research and she loses confidence a little. She questions her ability to do her job correctly, or even if she belongs at all. I've had experiences where I've felt uncomfortable and questioned my skills. I was under pressure too, and lost confidence in myself. It's not just me or Olivia. I think everybody can find themselves in a similar situation. The key is to stay calm and remind yourself you are doing the best you can with what you have. Don't let anyone, including yourself, tell you any different. To learn more about the physics club that Olivia founded, you can visit their website at plasmalpameuottawa.wixsite.com. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe below. And as always, special thanks to Johnny Flynn for giving us permission to use his beautiful music. Happy travels!
Is waiting for you.